had to make a quick adjustments on here because, like I said, this is the Gospel Jazz Connection. I am D Nice, and I've got Miss M, so she's all in, buckled into her seatbelt, and because you know what, we got a great show for you today. Here at the Gospel Jazz Connection, it is what it is. It is smooth jazz, especially tailored for your listening pleasure and your listening needs. And we always bring something nice that you can walk away with, being inspired, motivated, and invigorated. And today is no difference. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's hot outside. The sun is shining. And, you know, we're inside just chilling with you on this beautiful day. And this is the Gospel Jazz Connection. So let me bring in my co-host for today. It's good whenever we get a chance to catch her because she's always running. So ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Ms. M.
Hello out there, my jazz community. I know you enjoy the music that we play each and every week on Gospel Jazz Connection, and you also get good conversation. That's why we sometimes call it music and conversation, because we always have great topics, things that we can relate to, things in the community. We try to reach the masses so we can touch everybody's heart out there. And in between all that good conversation, we always play great music, whether it's jazz or it's blues. You can always rely on that.
I like that. So today, why don't you give us something, why don't you open up with something, a nice little tidbit that we missed, that we would just really get a kick out of or something, you know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know. You know what? Lately, I've been sending off of YouTube, okay? I've been finding these little quaint little submissions that people like to just put up these little things that they think are phenomenal or sensational. Sometimes they may not be all that. But oftentimes you'll find a group of YouTube submissions, they're only about a couple of minutes long, that really just kind of like put your day in a good direction. And I've sent them to you. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but this is one little cat on there, and his mother likes to put him out there all the time, and his name is Lil James.
Okay.
And it's got to be from the down south scenario. You could tell by the environment and by everything. But Lil James got himself a little Facebook page to subscribe to, because this little kid. He's got to be like about maybe like 7, 8 at the most. My grandson's about that age, but he says some of the most profound things. He has conversations that are really like off the chart. You know, like he'll talk to his mom, and I mean, they just, you know, it's like you could tell that they don't baby him. They don't talk to him like his baby. So he's got opinions. And when he has the kid's got opinions on everything. But a little kid, when he got an opinion on something, he gonna tell it. Okay, like he was looking at his mom's phone one day on the Facebook or something like that, and he was checking out this one Facebook entry from this guy, right? And this guy, I guess, was on there kissing somebody some grown up that he knew.
Okay.
So he got on the phone and called old boy. And he told old boy, well, first he got with the young lady first, and he says, I know you're trying to talk to her that you like so-and-so. He said, because I saw you on his Facebook page kissing him.
Okay.
And he says, I thought you were my girl, like that. It was so then he calls up old boy.
Okay.
And he says, I saw you on Facebook with my girl. And he's like, then he goes to another level, just like a grown man. He said, you know what, I'm going to tell you something. He said, that's my girl. And if I see you on Instagram or things like that again, talking to my girl and kissing on my girl, I'm going to punch you in your mouth. I'm going to sock you in your... It's just... he made it so profound to this brother that he was just not going to take his mess no more. And that just, you didn't watch it, Craig. If you look it up under YouTube, go under Lil James, Lil James, and it's crazy. Another one he had to where he wasn't satisfied with what his mother was telling him, so he was just through with her. and he just told her, I'm not ready with this today. I'm not putting up with this today. I ain't got time for this today. I don't have. He was just telling her he don't have time. She's like, what you mean? Like, look, mom. I ain't got time for this today. And so he was.
I saw that one.
So when he got out the truck, he said, no, I'm gonna, because I guess his grandmother was gonna take him. So after him honking the horn, he was going towards her, but he was coming back. He said, no, I'm gonna take my sister with me. I'm taking my little sister. So he opened the door to go get his little sister out the car, and so he said, no, you're not taking your sister with you. And grandmother's blowing the horn over there, and he said, hold up. So he finally went a few steps towards her, said, whatever her first name, called her by her first name. He said, you go on in the house. I'll be there in a minute. Came back to the car, and he said, I'm taking my sister. I'm taking. So he's going with his sister. So when mom just let him know emphatically it wasn't going to happen, he just was mad, so he slammed the door. And she said, don't be slamming the door on my truck. And so he slammed it a couple more times. He's like, the dude got attitude. He's got his own little personality. And it's the slickest little thing to see. So you guys, I'm telling you, if you feel like you need a laugh, get on YouTube and just Google Lil James, Lil James, okay? And he is he's got some other kids on there that, man, they say and do the craziest stuff, fighting with their parents and fighting with each other and just be talking mess.
I like the one with the little girl that you sent me. When she was telling her mom that she needed to leave her daddy alone. She said, it was so funny because she was, 8 years old or something like that? And she says, I don't understand why you keep going after him. He don't want you anymore. He has moved on. He has a new girlfriend. They're all over Facebook, and you see them going places, posing, taking pictures, and they're having a great time. And you're sitting over here moping and crying and getting an attitude. She says, I don't care about my daddy. I don't need his money. I don't need his support. I don't need anything from him. And then she told her mom, she said, it's just me and you.
Right.
And I was listening to her conversation. I was like, she's only 8 years old. How could she have a conversation like that?
But it was a very equitable conversation.
It was.
Oh, it was like you listened to two grown ladies talk.
It was.
Because she was like, I don't like her no way. I don't like the kids. He over there spending money with the kids. He should be spending money and time with me.
Yes.
I'm sitting there going, man, either these parents are giving these kids the script and going over till they memorize it. But then when you hear them, it's coming out of their mouth so natural.
It hurts, genuine.
The face was, and she was kind of hot because she was kind of hurt too. How dare him leave this family and get another family? I'm like,
that's right,
dude. It's crazy out there. But these kids, it goes to show, kids are smart.
They are smart.
And
very
you could
smart.
think that you running something by them or putting them on a program or whatever. They got their own little program. The only difference is that they're too young to be able to really crack you upside the head or say something really that will hurt your feelings. If they had a more vast vocabulary, you might find it. But I'm just saying, they pick up. You can't hide nothing past them. You can't spell it out anymore. You can't. No. Flashcards, even down to a couple of them that were 2 years old or whatever, talking crazy, and I mean, they didn't have the vocabulary that they needed, but you could hear that they were not happy with that parent doing whatever, and just, man, I'm telling you, you gotta, folks, you gotta watch your kids. You can't curse in front of them. You can't be out there acting a fool in front of these kids. They will mimic what you say, do. They'll go to school, cuss a teacher out, throw something at the teacher's head. They will act a fool because they get what they see at home, and with the significant others that they run around with, and then they mimic that behavior and then the other little girl that she started out, she's got to be maybe like about 4 or 5, and she gets in the car and she's like, girl, you see that one I sent you? And she'll come off, and then she'll go into it girl, I was at church today, and so the other lady, the grown woman, was like, the adult was like, well, did you take that husband of yours with him? No, girl, he just sits on the couch and watches TV. It's me and these little dogs, and she pointed out me and these little badass kids. And I'm sitting there watching this, and then we went on for about 3 minutes. It was funny, but she was just talking like the grown up was talking to another grown up. Like you could hear, girl, I was at church today, and the pastor was talking. Everybody needs salvation because they were just tripping in the church, and there's a little girl saying some stuff. It's funny. So it's not really funny when it happens to you. And when you get that call from the teacher saying, come pick your kid up there in the office because they done cuss somebody out or busted somebody in the head or something like that, it's not funny.
Because these kids nowadays, they're not taking any mess. 'Cause I have grandkids, because I listen to my granddaughters. They're in high school. But they literally check their teachers from A to Z without using profanity.
Right.
And the teachers get an attitude with them because they're telling them about themselves and they're telling them the truth.
Right.
Just like my one granddaughter, about a month ago, when she was in school, she told her teacher, she said, we need to have a powwow outside. And she says, no, I don't mean later, I mean right now. You don't talk to an adult like that, but that's the way she put it. And she says, you are spending all your time dealing with the problems with the bad kids in the class. You're spending all your time trying to get them to act right when you have this core group of kids over here, and my little clique is about 10 of us. We want to learn. She says, but I'm spending my valuable time teaching the other 9 kids. I'm doing your job. She says, you want to give me your paycheck from now on? Because we're not learning anything from you. She says, I'm fortunate enough to be a 5.0 grade student average. She says, so I am learning and I'm teaching these 10 right here. She says, so what are you supposed to do? And she says, and that's not right. She says, and I don't appreciate it.
Right.
And of course, he got an attitude because she's only 16.
Right.
And how dare a 16-year-old tell him that?
Right.
But she was telling the truth.
Yeah.
And then she says, do you need me to help you? She says, if you tell me the journey and tell me the path, then I can take the core little 10 down that path because they will follow me because I'm the leader.
Right.
She says, because clearly you don't have your class under control. I was like, you can't talk to an adult like that.
No.
And so I said, that's disrespectful to your teacher to talk to him like that. She says, well, no, he's disrespecting me and my 10 little friends because we're not learning anything. So we're the ones suffering, not him, because he's already got his. And she says, and I told him that too.
Right. But you know what? They got a valid point. But, you know, you're right. You just... I don't know. We're in a whole different mindset of this world. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, with my 8-year-old grandson, just genius, man. They tried to tell me all kind of crazy stuff, but that he doesn't pay attention, he's disrupting or whatever, and come to find out that it was all about them. He would tell his teacher he's stupid, and so he'd tell the principal she was stupid. And so I'm one day, so they called me frantic. So my daughter's like, "Oh, Daddy, can you go down there and see what's going on with me, man?" And so I went down there and I confronted the principal, and she's like, "Well, he's not paying attention. He's disrupting the class." I said, "Well, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do." I'm never farther, because I work for myself. I said, I'm never farther than 45 minutes away at any time, during the week. I said, feel free to call me. I'll sit in class and see for myself. And so when I go in, and a couple of times they called me, and I got there early, and I went there, sat in the class, and this guy's got some, you know what I'm saying, and it's supposed to be an upscale kind of school, okay, in the West Side. And I sat in the class, and it's a bunch of boys and stuff and girls that have their little things going on, and everything is going on in their own little circle, you know what I'm saying, disrupting in their own little side. And the teacher's constantly just bringing everybody back into focus. And then he probably had like maybe 30 kids in the class, and you're grouped off into groups of 10 boys that, you know, always, like you say, they're hitting at each other and talking to each other, whatever. 10 girls doing the same thing. A group of 10 guys and girls that are just clicking with each other. And then you got 10 students that are just trying to muscle through and listen to the teacher on the front row. And I'm watching this whole thing, and I'm like, he really doesn't have this class. And he's kind of like a timid kind of teacher, dude. And I'm like, he really doesn't have this class under control. So one day, Sade said she did the same thing. My daughter came in and she sat in the class, and they were tripping. Now, she's a teacher, too, and she's with preschool, and her classes have some of the most notorious kids in the district. She has that kind of, you know, people with learning disabilities, and you got to really, you know what I'm saying, not extreme learning disabilities, but they don't pay attention to nobody or nothing.
Right.
And so she's been there for about 4 years as a teacher there. So she came in and saw this madness in his classroom. And so he had to run for something. He knew she was a teacher, so he kind of like left her in charge. He came back, them kids were quiet. She put them on a program. She just kind of like told them, you know what I'm saying, you guys, you want to party, this and this, you got to act like you got some sense, yada yada. And what if she told him? He came in, he's like, you got to come here more often because they never act like that around me. And so that showed me right there, you don't have control of your class.
Exactly.
So when I talked to the principal, then she was along this, she's like, had to be in her 80s, older black chick that probably went through the migration of being to that position as a black woman in Experience School. So I know she went through a lot and just had to overcome a lot of obstacles. But she's at this point now to where she'd rather get rid of label and get rid of her quote-unquote problems,
right,
than to be able to find a way to confront them or bring in the staff that can be psychologically equipped on what's going on with these kids or whatever. She doesn't want to so she's just pulling time, in other words.
Right.
So I said, I got it. So I said, just call me, whatever. Do you know, like 2 days later, this boy got kicked out of school, they said, for pulling the fire alarm, okay? And coming to find out, it was like 5 of them, and the rest of them were white. And so he's the only one that get kicked out. So he was like upset about that situation. So I went with him. I said, Mir, as long as you're right, then me and your mom, don't fight her. Me and your mom will just go in there, we'll fight your battles, but you got to be right. Otherwise.
Exactly.
And I said, you can't lie to me, but we got a relationship, Corey. We've always been like, I've been very upfront with him. You've seen him. I talk with him like he knows what he's talking about because he's very intelligent.
And he pays attention.
Yeah. So I'm not, since he's been a baby, he's been like that. He's very astute. He thinks, he weighs and balances everything, and he does. He's got great discernment. He can be around somebody for 30 seconds and read them. He can read them better than a fortune teller can. And tell what's going on with him. Oh, he's deep. And so when he was talking to me one day, he's like, yeah, I got thrown out of school. He said, I don't understand it. I said, well, it seems like it's always you. I said, is everybody against you? He said, yeah, the whole school. I mean, all the teachers and whatever's against me or whatever. I said, oh, come on, Amir. There's after school, the whole thing, and they're like putting to me like they got his back or whatever. Do you know, 2 days later, I found out that he was right, because of the different things that were coming down. Because I'm watching, okay, the after school says that he's doing this one here. Come to find out that she finally admitted she was lying, the after school chick, okay? And I'm like, wow, after all this trying to talk to me like, oh, I got your grandson, oh, I got his back or whatever. And so I'm not gonna say anything crazy to her. I just like, I got you now. Because we do have attorneys and we do have people on City Council. We do got family members, yourself and mine too, that are in high positions of political and educational scenarios.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, one of yours is in charge of a school district somewhere. So, I mean, we can get that things done. A couple of mine is judges, a judge, sitting court judge, that's a friend of mine, and a district attorney friend of mine. So we got people. So I'm looking at this like, you know what, do you really want to play this game? So when I talk to her, it's like, okay, I got this under control. He's just a bad kid or whatever. I said, no problem. You sit your 2 days out, but you watch yourself because, yeah, you sit there after you, I see it now. So he goes back to school. Do you know 2 days later, here's how God does, brings discernment and uncovers. 2 days later, I'm watching the news at night. I love watching my news, right? And they did a quick break into the news to where it was only because one of the workers, they're doing some construction there, happened to have his cell phone and videotaped one of the after-school teachers, a brother, okay? It was an after-school teacher there at his school, on the playground, stripped down butt naked, and was chasing the kids around the playground.
Yes.
Okay?
It was all over the news.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, and then it shut up. You did. That was for one time, and I'm looking and say, okay, let me follow up on that and tell everybody about it, see if it's on. It wasn't on the next day, it wasn't on the next day, and they heard him squash that. The only reason it got there is because the guy had that cell phone thing.
Exactly.
And when I saw it, there were 3 white guys with suits and ties on, standing maybe like 10 feet away from where the guy was videotaping from, on the street, from the street to the fence, and then across the schoolyard, which is probably about 100 feet. Then there's the guy, you can see him. And so, why are these guys in suits? 3 white guys, look like they weren't little punks either. Why didn't they go and approach him, tackle him, or something? Exactly. But they just sat there like they were looking at the grounds crew and just like they were doing a, what they do when they come and do a survey or something like that. And he's running around doing that stuff. And I'm like, okay, now, you telling me that my grandson is missing something, and you got this going on in your school. Now, you tell me who's missing something. Oh, well, we all have our little meltdowns and breakdowns and whatever, and he had a mental breakdown. I said, sister, let me tell you something. That wasn't a mental breakdown. That's on you. You didn't do a background check good enough, because it wasn't like one day somebody just jumps up and does some crazy stuff. And not only get butt naked and but he was chasing the kids around.
Exactly.
Okay, so was this one of them things that they had that they were from the archdiocese were getting accused of? Is this something that was shifting? What's going on here? And so a couple of days after that, God just opened the door for 2 other schools, one, because they saw his testing and saw he's very, very, very smart.
Right.
But they had put black marks on his record. They're like, oh, no, you got to take that off. So they got that reversed, and he was able to transfer to another school. He had shut down, and now he's like, man, a high grade student. He's happy. Well. Yeah. And I watched when we were sitting ready to get ready to try to go inside the office and talk to her. We were upstairs looking down at the playground. One of his little friends, quote unquote, went to the water fountain. It's like 4-bay water fountain, and we watched him pick down the ground and pick up some rocks and put them inside of where the spigot, where the water comes out, the actual thing. Yeah. And I said, Mary, look at this. He said, and he laughed. He said, that's so-and-so. I said, do you see what he's doing? He's like, wow. I said, Amir, that's the kind of climate you're being surrounding yourself. These are your friends. And look at the kind of crazy stuff you're doing. I said, so what do you think that's going to do to you every time you're around some crazy people doing crazy stuff? I said, you need to be out of here. And when he fought it, when we got his transfer papers, he hid them. The first said he hid, because he didn't want those were his friends. I said, Amir, because we got him again. I said, Amir, look at it like this. Those little kids, I said that he's a A+ basketball player. I found that out later down. You saw that too. Yeah, the boy at 8 years old, he plays ball like old school Lakers Magic Johnson.
He does.
When he pulls, them 8-year-olds, 8 to 10 in his league, and when he pulls down a rebound, he's fast break. He's not like the little kids. He's straight fast break. He's bouncing and he's dribbling behind his back through his legs. He's pulling up a 3-point shot. He's a 50% 3-point shooter, 50% on a net to where it's regulation size basketball goals, okay? And I'm sitting there watching this boy, and then when he's hitting these shots, he's like walking back down there stomping like LeBron does when he reaches his hand back. And I'm sitting there going, who is this young kid? That's not my grandson, because when he hits a basketball in his hand, he totally just shifts from himself and becomes a beast. And I'm watching him hit 20, 30 points in a game, and I'm sitting there going, oh my goodness. I told my daughter, I said, baby, we're on to something right here. You got to really stay on time. Yeah, but I'm just saying, what you put into a kid comes back.
It does.
And so you can't, parents, some of you out there listen to this one, you say, oh, I can relate to that. And a couple other parents heard this, going around, and they had similar occurrences and similar situations with this school.
You have to pay attention to the kids. Yeah. And you have to pay attention to the teachers, the schools that they're going to. Yes. Because a lot of these teachers are frustrated because they do have a lot of bad kids that they have to deal with, and so they just loop them all together in one category and just assume that the whole class is that way. And like my granddaughter says, they'll spend all their time trying to put these fires out in the classroom when they got this core group of kids over here that are clearly not like that, and they want to get something out of it. Parents need to spend more time in following up with the schools, going to the school, meeting and talking to the teachers and the counselors, and finding out how their children are doing. And see, when we were coming up, that's what our parents did. They had the Parent Teachers Association. Parents would come to the school anytime they felt like it. They could sit in the classroom. That's correct. They were very much involved. But now with this technology era, they're just giving the kids technology and saying, forget about it. They're on their own.
Right.
And it's not working because it's developing kids that are bad in school, and it's taking the ones that are smart, and their grade levels are starting to drop now because they're not paying attention to them. They're not being challenged. Right. Because like my granddaughter, one of my other granddaughters said, she says, how dare you put me in a class with these people over here? They're not as smart as me. She says, I need to be in advanced classes, but you don't know that? Right. She says, did you check my records last semester? I had straight A's all the way down. I'm not an ordinary person. And I said, now that wasn't exactly right to say that, but the way you delivered it, but she's telling the truth.
Yeah, yeah. She's on a mission, and this is the same young ladies that are going in this program they're with, a special program, and they're going to college. They're going to college now. They've been in college for the last
2 years.
2 years, and they're only in what grades now?
They're only in the 10th grade and the 11th grade.
Yeah, so they started at the 9th and the 10th.
Yeah, they started at 14 years old, going to Loyola Marymount half the day, and then going to Westchester High School the other part of the day.
Exactly. So you know what I'm saying? There are some exceptional students out there, and like I said, but they're trying to get theirs because they realize what their dreams are and what they want to do. And I know one of them wanted to be a judge, and so we go to parties with Stacey's house, the district attorney, and so Judge Patty, she would go up under her and talk to her and want to be a judge, and they love her and they've adopted her, you know what I'm saying, in their family, so they look at after the girls. But your granddaughters are no joke. I mean, they're very polite, they're very, but I can understand the frustration, and I can appreciate them kind of speaking up for themselves. I mean, although sometimes you got to watch it. We can't let them go and continue to think it's cool, because like I tell my 8-year-old, I tell myself, Amir, look here. Now, I don't want to come to school one day and find out that you left in the ambulance because one of them pushed you down a set of steps and said you tripped.
Right.
Okay, because they will they're doing, nannies, all kind of stuff they're finding out. A lot of stuff not even being found out, you know what I'm saying, 'cause people not that they're doing to these little kids because they're ticked off, they can't mentally deal with them, they're challenged or whatever, and they just strike back as adults. But you can't put your hands an adult on no kid, especially not mine, because if I find out, boy, heaven and earth is going to move the same day that happens. Because, you know what I'm saying, I'm just going to go there and they just got to forget that, just call SWAT. Just take me out, and that's the way I get out. With my family, my daughter, and my grandson, that's just the way it's going to get out.
See, that's why I couldn't be a teacher, because, I came up from the old school.
Right.
See, in the old school, teachers did put their hands on you.
Yeah, they
got
get away.
swatched,
Yeah.
you got paddled,
Exactly.
You got checked.
You're
I saw kids get slammed into the wall. It didn't kill them.
I saw it too, yeah.
It did not kill them. They survived. They grew up to be doctors and lawyers and successful people in the world.
Right.
Unlike these kids today that have parents that say, no, you can't chastise my child. You can't correct my child. You can't say anything to my child. My child can do anything they want to in your classroom.
Right.
They can be unruly. They can disrespect you. And they grow up to be what?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
They grow up to be just like the parents, hanging out at the house Monday through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, doing nothing.
Right. So let's even outside of the school ground, let's take it to another news article that happened about a couple of weeks ago with a young lady. She was walking her daughter home, and an African American couple, and she was walking her daughter home, and they passed by this I think he was 70 or 80-year-old Mexican Hispanic guy, right? And so he was on a cane or whatever, and so he was trying to walk by her with this cane on the sidewalk, and I don't know if he bumped into her or what happened like that. Next thing they had the news that his mama had her mother stomped the dude. I mean, stomped this old man. They're trying to put attempted murder on this woman. Yeah. And so they finally found her, whatever. But I'm saying it's crazy. And so she tried to say that he touched the little girl inappropriately. But this one Hispanic girl saw the whole thing and got it on video camera. Now the woman's going into. I mean, they're going to go with her to the fullest.
And they should.
Because that's elder abuse. That's I mean, that's way crazy. You don't. I mean, come on now. You ain't got to. And then she had 2 other guys with her, whatever. You ain't got to stomp nobody like that because they bumped and look. And probably the little girl say, "Oh, well, he did this and this, right?" But I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, you come on now. And the old man, like I said, he was beyond reproach in what he was doing. So I mean, it's really, and so they really going after her as a hate crime too. So I mean, these parents out here, man, they're off the chain too.
They are.
They stupid. They're stuck on stupid. You people out there stuck on stupid, check yourself, because we got somebody at the top that's stuck on stupid too.
That's right.
Okay.
It's slowing down.
And he don't care about nothing. You know what I'm saying? He don't care about you. He don't care about this country. He don't care about nothing because, like I said, he's a businessman. And so a businessman is going to go after just the premises of the business.
That's
and
right.
when he looks at making business deals, it's what's good for the business in his mind. I forget everything else. Yeah. It's what's good for his business. This is make dollars and cents business-wise and whatever.
That's all he's looking at.
And so you cannot do business when you're doing a political scenario, satire. This is politics. This is the government. It ain't got nothing to do with business. Inside the government are different arms of business. That's why they put them there for the Department of Commerce, the Department of Education, the Department of Labor, and all these different that are supposed to be on top of making sure that these things flow in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? But when you come there and you're on top of everything and you're saying, okay, this is the way it is, and I don't have to check in with nobody. I'm writing the laws. I'm doing this. I'm abolishing this. I'm putting a pen against this one and making laws on the fly as you want to, and not listening to anybody but yourself. See, something's wrong with that picture. I don't care how you look at it.
That's true. But what he's doing is he's running the country like he runs his business.
Right.
See, he ran his businesses that way, and they were successful. Some of them failed, but then a lot of them were successful.
A lot of them bankrupt.
So he's using the same premise to run the country, and you can't run the country like that.
You can't do that. But see, people are sitting back saying, well, and then the long short story short, you can sit back and say, well, he's doing this or he's doing that, because then again, you got hate groups coming up right now like never before. I know back in the day they were saying, well, South will rise again. Dude, come on now, they have never went anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Prejudices never went anywhere. It just kind of went underground. But now they feel like they can sit there and, Maxine Waters' office was attacked, and then they want to attack her in front of a rally or whatever. And then brothers came up and said, yeah, come on down with this here. You want blood in the streets? You want this MLK Part 2 without the turn the other cheek? Then, dude, you're pushing on the right. You're pushing on the right mechanism here, because people all over the world are tight. That's what I'm saying. But it never went anywhere. But now when you got somebody that says it's okay to touch women's vaginas, it's okay to physically abuse women, because when you got money, you can do that, and they really don't care, or really. And then the dude that does the interview loses his job. But yet and still, they take you on to the next level of where you want to go.
Right.
And that man is still without his job. Okay?
That's
and
right.
after all this, after Me Too and all this other stuff, and they're trying to say, why didn't they just assess it and say, okay, well, look, he brought this to bear. Let him be a hero for, for making it. But I guess they got ticked because, you tricked me into saying some stuff? Well, you got this other guy out here that's been doing, Sacha Baron, you know what I'm saying, that's been doing it. He sat down there and he's done political crazy satire and had all these, he dresses up as different people. He's a comedian. Yeah. And he has all these different dignitaries, foreign and everything, saying all kind of crazy stuff. And because they think he is somebody he's not. Somebody can buy it in, and somebody who's in that position to talk to him as a journalist, whatever. And this dude is just a regular street comedian that's made his money on comedy. So he's taking this stuff, he's putting it into DVDs and selling these outtakes and whatever. And once you're looking at it, you're like, oh my goodness, I look like a fool making him do all kind of crazy stuff. And this is what we're doing nowadays. We're looking at the outside of what we see, and we're accepting that as that's the way it is, because nothing's making sense anymore.
That's
Back
right.
in the day, things made sense, and you had time to stop and say, okay, this doesn't sound right, this doesn't look right. Now our government is in such a way that we can't say this doesn't sound right, this doesn't look right, because nothing's right about our government nowadays. It don't even look like a government nowadays.
It doesn't, and it's opened the door for so many bad things. Because, aside from doing the radio show, I work for Department of Defense.
Right.
So about, I want to say 3 weeks ago, it came to light that there was somebody, Caucasian, that was working for us, had their top secret clearances, had the top of the top secret clearance. They were paying for them to go back to school, get their PhD, and they were a part of white supremacist groups.
Right.
And they were a part of that issue that we had about a year and a half ago when that incident happened back in Charlottesville.
Yep.
And they had pictures of him and video footage of him when he was beating up black people. He was at the front with his arms in the air walking with the leader of the white supremacist group out there. And it didn't come to surface until a year and a half later when somebody had the footage, they put it out there, and they realized that he worked at the same company where I worked.
Right.
And so I started getting all kinds of phone calls and emails, because I'm a member of the African American Task Group at this facility.
Gotcha.
And they knew I used to be the chair. And they were like, well, what are we going to do about it? So, yes, when it got out, it was handled, it was taken care of from
Right.
the corporate office level. They got rid of him. He was let go. He was escorted out. But we all still know there at this company that it's very alive there. It always has been. It's just that a lot of them are very discreet about it. They don't come out with it boldly like he did.
Right.
But see, he was in a situation, he wasn't that old. He was only 30 years old.
Right.
But that was his beliefs. And you can't stop a person from having their own beliefs
Right.
if they want to go down that road. But you can't go out and represent a corporation, a company with that. You can't be bold about it.
Right.
You have to be discreet about it if you want to maintain your livelihood.
Right.
But because he was young, he was only 30, he didn't know that, so he was going out doing these things. And so I was on the phone immediately. I was like, no, you guys need to take care of this.
Right.
You got to make it happen. I
Right.
said, because there's no way that he should still be maintaining his position
Right,
in
I
a
got you.
company like ours doing that. And I was like, and to take it a step further, how could he possibly have gotten the clearance that he has? Because they check you. They go all the way back to your childhood. He could be labeled as a terrorist.
Right. Yeah.
He could be in that category.
With hate crimes and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
that
because
is,
they got him on video footage.
Right, doing
and they're
it.
showing it.
Right.
It was all over the news. And then the funny thing was, see, I didn't know the young man, but I remembered the footage because
Right.
I had seen it on the news because I watched the news all the time. And I was like, wow. I had no idea he worked in the building next to me. And who else? And then when they let him go, I said, now you guys still need to be concerned because of where he's coming from.
Right.
What if he comes back with retaliation? Because he is associated with these different factions.
Right.
I said, you need to have a conversation with the minorities there. You need to talk to them about it. Talk them off the wall because they were on the wall with that.
I know they were.
What's going to happen? What are you going to do about it? And they pushed it.
Right. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you something else crazy. Let's stay on that back for a second because another sensationalism on the news was the man and the wife that did that crazy stuff to them 13 kids recently within the last 6 months or whatever.
Right.
He was an engineer at your company too.
Yeah.
And they had locked the kids up or something like that, white folks, and they had locked the kids up in the basement, some crazy stuff, 13 of them. And so they came in, and one of the girls happened to escape and was able to, thank God she was able to escape and bring somebody down because it seemed like they were getting ready to move and all this other stuff and be out of range and whatever. But I mean, they had kids of all ages.
Yeah.
13 of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was an engineer at Northrop. So I'm like, dude, this is some crazy stuff, dude. And Boeing, and you know what I'm saying? And I saw another one was with Raytheon, some crazy stuff with Raytheon. So these as defense contractors, the three defense contractors that everybody knows. And, there's different things that they're doing. So somebody's not venting somebody. And so when you're coming down to a person in charge that's fighting the FBI, the CIA, and all of his intelligence branches inside the military, and also the defense contractors always also have somebody that reports to the defense contractors too, and the Defense Department also. So if there's corruption at the top, it's trickling all the way down.
Yeah.
And so nobody's vetting anybody. So now you tell me what's going on that
Because
we're
they
not
don't
knowing.
want to talk about it.
No, they don't.
When these types of things happen, typically in corporate America, I've been working in corporate America, for 30 plus years?
Right.
And typically they will sweep it under the carpet. They may handle an isolated situation, but they don't want it to get out to the media if it doesn't have to. So
Right.
they will squash it as much as they can, put a
Right.
lid on it, and they'll try to take care of it. Then they'll come back and give you some fluff emails or a fluff meeting
Yep.
that's kind of generalized to make everybody feel okay and comfortable.
Right.
But with the way the government is working now and the things that are floating down and filtering down to us below, that's not working anymore.
No.
They need to do something about it because it's taking us backwards. I mean, we've made a little progress over the last, say, 100 years, but we haven't made enough progress. And the little progress we have made, this kind of stuff is taking us back to like the 60s and the 50s. We've gone backwards.
Right.
And these people out here that believe in these things, they were raised that way, so they know nothing else. And so they're taking the realm and feeling like they got the government backing them on this. And the government may not be backing them on it, but they feel like they are because of their actions. And actions do speak louder than words.
Right. And so going back to an observation that you made for me not too long ago, when you were saying to the fact to where in the city up there, where most of the all of the contractors, in fact, are in the El Segundo area, and with that area there, you were telling me that the police there, have just kind of shifted a little bit, because then you said they used to burn crosses up to a few years ago behind that.
Yeah, that was like 25, 30 years ago, which is not that far back.
No, it's not.
They were still burning crosses in the yards when black family would move in that community, because it was predominantly white. Right.
So that's not even in the 60s anymore.
No.
We're talking about in the 1990s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I remember reading the news articles about it, because a lot of our kids were coming out of school with engineering degrees, and they were working for those companies. Of course, they bought homes in those areas to be close to work. And it was a problem for some of them over there.
Right. And so, you know what I'm saying? So what do you do in a place where, it's a when, why, and unless? We were talking about that as a theme earlier. So when do you do something about it? When do you feel like it's safe to, or if it ever becomes safe, to go outside, so to speak? And when do you have to stop listening to, unless you conform, unless you're this, unless you're that, unless you belong to this, unless you're this color, whatever, then you can't function, you can't be a part of this one here. So those three words have always been a part of our community, as black community, because no matter what, we always got to ask, when, where, and unless. We're always constrained by that. And it's ridiculous, because our kids now are coming up under that too, where it's target practice for blacks, especially our black youth. You know what I'm saying? Well, we got to unlike any other race, we got to tell our sons and daughters what to do when they're stopped. I've been in cars with Caucasian folks when they'll come and approach the car and ask if it's a woman. They'll say, "Are you all right?" First thing they want to do to her is, "Are you all right?" Okay, I'm a black man, so you got to ask her, or she, I'm driving. I can't be all right, or I'm riding. I can't be all right because I'm riding. You got to ask them first.
Yeah.
Are you all right? Like I'm kidnapping them, or this is in 2018, we're dealing with this kind of crazy because it's happening time.
Now you'll get a kick out of this. I'm being told that in what we consider to be our community was Leimert Park, Crenshaw area.
Right.
And we've pretty much had this area probably since the 70s. And a lot of white people are moving back into our community. I'm seeing them. They're moving in. They're buying the properties. They're moving into the condos. You see them walking with their houses. They're even moving into the jungle, my son tells me.
Wow.
My son lives up there. And so what they're doing now is they're calling the police all the time when they're out walking their dogs, doing everything. If they see a black man or a black woman walking on the other side or walking on the sidewalk with them, they call the police distressed.
Right.
There's a black couple, they're walking here, and I'm afraid. And the police are showing up. For what? This is our community.
Right.
You moved into our community, and now you don't want us to enjoy our community. We can't walk on the sidewalk.
Right.
We can't go down to the mall or go to the coffee shop and do all the things that we've been doing for the last 30 years in our community. And then I'm being told that where they used to play the drums down there in Leimert Park, we had that little park area there, and every Sunday we had the Jamaicans and the Africans, and then we all got together and we had our little marketplace, and we would sell our little things and have food, and we just all have a good time right there. They don't want that anymore. They wanted to turn it into a dog park. Really? A dog park?
Yeah.
But they're saying that it's a danger to them to have them there. It wasn't a danger to us.
Right.
This was ours.
Right.
I mean, we got this one little piece. I mean, people may not like to hear it, but the Koreans have their little community. The Chinese have their little community. The Hispanics have Alvera Street, their little community. But we can't have one.
But that ain't even a community. That's like a 100 yards. It's smaller than the football field.
Yes.
It's like 100 feet long
Yes.
by maybe 100 feet wide or something like. It's something
Yes.
real crazy, and that's where we get together and we have our little fun and we have our little when we're doing dignity.
Yes.
And that's a dog park. No, these people here are lost. But you know what? Here's crazy. We're allowing this to happen.
We are.
Our politicians are sitting back getting paid. Okay, I'm gonna tell it like it is. You come at me if you want to.
And because Metro is going through there, they're
Right.
afraid that white people won't want to ride on the train and go through there because we have our little African drum rolls there and we do our dances and we have plays because we got a theaters down
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And we're into the arts down there. We got people that
Call
draw
a spade a
beautiful
spade.
paintings and they do a lot of artistic work and we have a lot of bands down
Yeah.
there. We sometimes throw concerts
Yeah.
down there, have little family
Because
festivals.
Barbara Morrison's right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's right there on the main street.
The Vision Theater is there.
Right. On that little square. It's not even a square mile. It's not even a quarter mile.
No,
It's like
it's what,
man, dude,
maybe
it's like
3 or 4 blocks?
No, it's less than a block. It's
Yeah.
less than a block area. Smaller than a block area.
Yes, and they
that's
want
us.
that too.
Yeah, and parking lots or whatever, Phillips barbecues on the end and Regency West across. And they want, I mean, come on now. And it's like, but we're allowing that, dude. Somebody in city council, somebody knows what's going on because they're applying for these permits or whatever, and they're getting these permits. Who's giving them the permits? Who's watching over who's getting the permit? Who's watching these spectrums when they're coming through and applying for these applications?
When have you
Come
ever
on now.
seen a black family want a dog park?
Man, we ain't never had a dog park. We don't even have dogs. Look here, I'm one of them. If he ain't going in the morning and going to get a job and bringing some money home by the end of the day, I don't need you around just to
Right.
bark?
Right.
Dude, if you there for protection, if somebody breaks in my house, you better tie him up, handcuff him, and call the police. And then I would say you a watchdog. Unless you do all that above and call the police, then, I'm paying for you to bark when somebody's there. Come on, you know what I'm saying? That's all you're good for. So what? And then I got to clean up after you. I got to walk you whenever I ain't got no time or I'm busy overdoing it. I got to walk you. Oh, come on now. I mean, we have really lost our way. And the political atmosphere has made it worse. So, I mean, as a community, we done lost our minds. I mean, where are our leaders that used to march? We ain't got what's happening with our black people. Where
We don't
are
have any leaders
who's standing up?
anymore.
Who's the city council standing up and saying we're not taking this? I mean, dude, come on now. Everybody's getting greased. That's the way it's got to be.
I only can think of one off the top of my head that speaks her mind, and that's Maxine Waters.
And so they want to go there and they want to. You got the president of the United States talking crazy. I mean, who does that? Okay, he don't even use a nomenclature. He uses it by name. This is her, and so it's like a open battle between. And she's not, like I said, she's not in the White House in the building there. Okay, she's like everybody else doing her job, elected to do her job.
But what I can appreciate about her, despite what anybody thinks,
Right.
she speaks her mind.
Yeah.
She has beliefs.
Right.
And she pushes her beliefs.
Right.
And they can't make her be quiet.
But she's not the only black in there saying something, but they just want to target her and
Yeah, 'cause they
want to
want her
call
to
her a
be
terrorist.
quiet.
They want to just call her a terrorist.
They want her to be
You know what I'm
quiet
saying?
because she's speaking the truth.
Yeah, but you have others that are saying something that why her? It's just, dude, they've gone after others. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing that they were saying Bill did, white folks been doing. I've been in the industry, music industry forever, and the Playboy Mansion has always been a place to go up there and do their little drugs, drop their little quaaludes and their little things, and you know what I'm saying, and have all the women come through there, the youngsters and whatever, isn't that what they run the little girls through and whatever, and that's been the place that happens to. And then suddenly you got this one looking like a man, and all of them one looking like a man saying this, and then pushing the agenda. They were like grabbing for straws. What can we do? What we can do? And it didn't basically happen till that man decided one day he wanted to jump up and vie for NBC. Now those of us that know what's behind the scene, okay, and then suddenly it ain't been right since then. How dare you, darky, want to come there and own something?
They don't
How
want us
dare
to do
you?
that.
Yeah, so
they've
come.
been on a mission to take it. If you think about it, all the people that were in our community that had a lot of money and were very
Or wanted to do
wealthy. I
something.
won't say all of them, but
Right.
a lot of them, and most of them were celebrities of some kind. They try to take them out.
Yeah.
Some of them they have taken them completely out, and some of them they're still trying to take
Yes,
them
exactly,
out.
correct.
It's like they don't want them to own anything of substantial.
Have a
things.
voice.
They don't. They don't.
And you know what? And we're putting up with it.
Yeah.
I mean, that. So it makes me really wonder. Now I got to really go rethink this whole thing, because our politicians, black politicians and leaders. I mean, don't give me this Obama situation. We know what he went through. The man had great ideas. He was trying to do some things, and they shut him down from day one. He had a house that was totally against him, and it was Congress. And so they sat back and said, you know what, Darky, we'll tell you what. You're in the seat, but we're gonna stop everything you do. He did a plan. When he did the health care plan, do you know that white folks been trying to do it, and the Republicans have been trying to do this?
And it wasn't even his plan.
No, but that was a Republican plan. They were trying to do this to the Bush. The same
George
thing.
Bush is the one that
same
developed
thing.
that plan.
Senior. The same thing.
Yes, he just was not there long enough to push it and initiate
Right.
it. So Obama picked it up and initiated
And
it.
so saw the
and they
need.
called it the Obama plan. It should have been called the Bush plan.
But what I'm saying is, so they got behind the scenes and got with the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies, and so here's what we're going to do. We're going to raise the prices. We're going to make it look all bad to him, and all the water's going to run down. And that's what he did. That man walked in there spry as he wanted to be and walked out of there with gray hair. It's a wonder he didn't have missing teeth and everything else with the way they just treat. But that's the way they do it. And this man comes in now and he says anything he wants and does anything he wants to, gets away with it.
In the 2 years that he's been in office, if you made a list of what he has initiated,
right,
created, what laws he's put on the book,
right,
it would be like maybe 5, 6, because he spent most of his 2 years taking down everything that Obama established.
Well, look at the rules that are on the book now. I mean, what is that? Who does that help? I mean, you go there and your people that are on your coalition, they got your back. You going overseas and telling them how crazy they are, but then they're telling them, dude, Russia is doing this and that. We've never been in bed with Russia. We've never been cool with Russia. They've always wanted to do. And so suddenly you're going to go over there and say, Putin is a great man. And you go to this little youngster, Kim Jong-un or whatever his name is, in North Korea, and you go sit there and say he's a good guy too. I mean, dude, what barometer are you looking at? What glasses are you looking through? And so he's coming back and saying, this is what I say, and he's not unapologetic until there's people in his own party saying, dude, what are you doing? They're leaving because they can't control him.
And then in the newspapers just yesterday, it said that he was talking to Iran, and Iran came back and said, you start the war, we're going to end it.
Man, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming down. He started, I mean,
he said, you are not coming in our country and do anything.
And then he's alienating the military, you know what I'm saying? No gays in the military, this, and this, not doing this one. And then alienating everybody, you know what I'm saying? The people in power that he put there, he's firing them. You know what I'm saying? One dude
had such a turnover.
Because he's getting rid of his own people. And so you don't think that when your boy put you under a bus, you're going to want to find a way to tell everybody what's been going on, because people are holding a lot of stuff because they're like, oh, Republicans are good by standing behind their people. They're good for just falling their knives.
They are good
But now they're starting to turn around and say, this dude here, they know this guy is off the charts. And so, but I'm just saying, we have enough power in our black community, money in our black community, to step up and do some things. Come on, guys, let's stop turning a deaf ear, and let's stop doing the same thing they're doing, and letting our kids go off the chart too. Because, like I said, if we don't teach our kids the right way and give them the right ethics and the right flow, and let them know our history, then history is going to repeat itself. And like I said, the South ain't went nowhere. The prejudice is not gone anywhere. It's still here. But we've got to be able to tell them and show them how to respect people like they want to be respected. But you just can't teach them to be laying over either, because we got enough people there. Go to the polls. If you don't like what's going on, vote. If you don't like what your city council is doing, replace them. Write that note to the congressman, your senator, or whatever in our black community. Say something about it. Go there and do your whatever you're doing to let them know you're dissatisfied with how it's happening in your community. Say something, black folks. Don't just sit back there and think that, I can beat my kids, I can do this, and it's all good. Because no, you still got to follow legality of God first and foremost. But when you find out, because you can't do nothing with God's law, But when you find out the laws of man are not right, say something about it. Do something about it. Politicians in our black community, help. Do something. Make a change. This is D Nice, and I don't want to be standing on my soapbox. I'm sitting here with Miss M. Miss M, you got any parting words for them folks?
I'll say until the next time, peace out.
Yes, and I'm going to say right now what I say all the time. If you want to get it in real and live the life to where you know you can live it and have that expression of release within your spirit, then put God first, and everything else will follow. I guarantee you. This is D Nice from the Gospel Jazz Connection, from Miss M, from Akita, from Lady D, and a shout out to my boy Jimmy. Okay, you know what? He was a great driver. I ran into the other day, and he's good. And I told him I was gonna shout him out. Jimmy Barnett, what's up? So until then, Gospel Jazz Connection, D Nice saying holla back. God bless.